All right. So what I want you guys to do today is raise your hand with the raise hand function on Zoom if you like receiving gifts. All right. We got one person who likes receiving gifts. All right, we got Kevin, you like receiving gifts as well. We all like receiving gifts. All right, now raise your hand if you have one sibling, exactly one sibling. Oh, okay, nice. What about two siblings? What about three or more siblings? Okay, and then neither of you guys have zero siblings. Okay, so let's say if you and your parents spend a total of $100 on gifts for you and your siblings, how much would each of you receive if you both receive the same amount? What do you think? Go ahead and use the red dot on Peer Deck to drag your answer to the dollar bills, depending on the number of siblings you have, how much both of you will receive.
And this is divided by all siblings?
Yes, so you and your siblings. All right, so the Obama $25 bill, we got one person who, each of you guys are gonna get $25, and then another one of you guys, each of you will get $50. Okay. So how did you guys end up coming up with that? That's really interesting. Jake, how about you? How did you end up coming up with well, first of all, which one would be how much each of you guys receive?
Well, I chose $50 because I have one other sibling. So I thought, okay, well, if I have $50 and then my sister has $50, if I add 50 plus 50, that will give me $100.
All right, good. And then Kevin, how about you?
Well, so there are a total of 5 of us, and there's $100. So if you take away 25 from each person, or if you did 5 times 25, then you would get 100.
Okay. So 5 times 25, you're saying is 100. So that'd be 25 plus 25.
25 times 4 is 100.
Oh, okay, because you got 4 siblings and then there's you, so there's 5 people total, right?
Yes.
Okay. So let's think about this though. Jake, you have one sibling, so that's 2 people. And then Kevin, you have 4 siblings, which is 5 people.
Right.
So that means that you each get an even amount.
Correct.
Now, what if you had, let's say, if you had, let's say you had 2 siblings. So then there would be 3 of you.
Oh.
Okay, so then how much would each of you receive?
30.33.
30.33. Okay, maybe that's probably correct. I guess we'll see a little bit later on if that is correct or if it's not correct. But it would be another amount. It wouldn't be $100. It wouldn't be $50. It wouldn't be $25. So it'd be this blank dollar here, which is some other amount other than an even number, or not an even number, an even amount for both of you guys. All right, good. All right, so Jake, you were saying that you did you had did 50 plus 50, which gives you the $100 total.
Yes.
So that right there is what? It'd be repeated addition, right?
Yeah, addition.
Right. So if you recall from prior knowledge, multiplication is a number of times a number is repeatedly added. So again, Jake, for you, you did 50 plus 50, which gives us $100. And then Kevin, for you, yours was 25 plus 25, plus 25 plus 25, which is $100. But if there's 5 of you total, Kevin, it would be $20.
$20. Correct.
For both of you guys. Okay. All right. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about division and what it means to divide. And our essential question that we sort of want to think about as we're moving through learning how to divide is, how is multiplication and division both related? Okay. And how you guys are going to be figuring this out is you guys are basically going to be taking certain problems about how many gifts a person receives if another person gives them those gifts, or the transfer of gifts from one person to another. So what I want you guys to do is, in your breakout rooms, discuss with a partner questions 1 through 4, and that's going to be on slides 7 through 13. And you guys want to draw your answers, so I just type your answers on Peer Deck, on the slides that have the Peer Deck capability. So these are the 4 questions you guys are going to be answering here. You don't need to read them right now, they're going to be on the next slides. But if you look at the very bottom, each person, right? So Jake and Kevin, you guys are both going to be given gift cutouts and people cutouts to represent these problems visually. Okay, so I want you guys both working on the same problem at the same time, but type your answers in Peer Deck individually.
Okay.
Okay.
So do you guys have any questions about what we're going to be doing?
Nope, I think I'm ready.
Okay. So let me go ahead and let me go ahead and give you guys an example first. So what you can do with these boxes here is you can move these boxes around to figure out the question. So maybe you will want to move these boxes, which is the gifts, from Santa, because Santa gives out gifts, to these 2 people here, Rick and Morty. Right. So let me go ahead and put you guys in your breakout rooms, and you guys are going to have about 10 to 15 minutes to discuss questions 1 through 4. And make sure you type your answers on Peer Deck, and then after, we're going to regroup to discuss what we came up with. So I'm going to go ahead and put you guys in your breakout rooms.
Are we in the breakout room?
I'm going to put you guys in the breakout rooms right now. So
Okay.
let me do this. Okay. And you guys should be in your breakout rooms right now. All right, so Kevin, are you able to get into your breakout room? All right, there they go. Off they go into their breakout rooms. Oh, but what I did forget to give them is the actual Google Slides. So let me enter their breakout room.
Hello.
All right. So you guys spent a little bit of time in your breakout rooms discussing basically what division is. That's what we want to discover here. So let's go ahead and discuss what you guys discussed. So let me share your response for question 1. All right, so it doesn't look like you guys answered on the question 1 slide. It's perfectly fine. But question 1 was Santa has 6 gifts. If Santa is to give all his gifts to Rick and Morty, how many gifts does each person receive if they both receive the same amount from Santa? So if we go over to the Google slide here, since you guys did answer on there, what did you guys end up doing for question number 1?
Well,
Alright.
I like
So what we did is basically we saw there were 2 children and the gifts were right there. So visually we just dragged them one by one. So we
Okay.
saw an even number.
Right. So you took those 6 gifts that Santa had and gave each person one at a time until all the gifts were gone.
Correct.
Okay. So how many gifts do they each receive then?
3.
3. Okay. And Jake, how about you? Did you end up coming up with something different, or did you guys both agree on that?
No, we both agreed on that. They both got 3 gifts.
All right, great. So how about question 2? Did you guys answer that one on Peer Deck? Let's go ahead and
No, I think we answered all the questions on the Google.
on the Google slide.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you guys answered this on Peer Deck actually.
Okay.
So
Okay.
question 1A, how can you determine the number of gifts Rick and Morty each have? And this is what you guys did. You guys, did each give individually
Yeah.
to both people, and you found out that they each received 3 gifts.
Right.
Okay, so now what if they gave their gifts back to Santa? So the 3 gifts, they each had 3 gifts, so they have 6 gifts total, and they're each giving their gifts back to Santa. So how many gifts does Santa have? What do you think?
Well, we figured there's like 2 separate ways we could do this. But the easiest way is that we see that each of them have 3 gifts. So if we add 3 from Rick, and then we add another 3 gifts from Morty, 3 plus 3 equals 6, which means Santa's gonna have 6 gifts in total.
Right, that's exactly right. So using that concept of repeated addition here, we were able to see that kind of the reverse of giving, from the gifts from Santa to Rick and Morty, and then from Rick and Morty to Santa, is just repeated addition. You could do it both ways.
Yes.
Okay. And then how else might you be able to determine that? So we have repeated addition. Is there any other ways you might be able to figure out that problem?
Yes, we can possibly do this by grouping together the people and the gifts. So we have 3 gifts per person, and then we have 2 individuals. And that gave us a total
Right.
of 6 gifts.
Right. Okay, that's good. So what you did is instead of doing 3 plus 3 in the last time to solve this problem, you're just saying that, well, 3 plus 3 is the same as 3 times 2.
Correct.
Okay. And then Jake, did you end up doing the same thing, or did you do something a little bit different?
I did the same thing. Kevin explained it really, really well. I believe his judgment.
Okay, good. All right, and what about question 3? What did you guys end up doing for that one? Because this time we noticed that he no longer has 6 gifts, but he has 7 gifts. So can you still do the same method to figure out the number of gifts each person receives?
Kevin did it. We tried doing it the original way, which was splitting the gifts up visually, but we noticed that there is one gift left behind, and we couldn't give it to Rick
Right.
or Morty because then they wouldn't have the same amount of gifts.
Okay.
So we realized then that maybe if we were to split the gift in half, then they could both get 3.5 gifts, which will equal 7 gifts. But otherwise, it was really difficult to figure out.
Yeah. So if you do the method that you guys did the first time, where you guys do one gift to each person individually, you're gonna either be left with the gift or you're not gonna have enough gifts.
Yes.
So if you guys split it in half, which is what you guys did, then you're able to give each person that half a gift if you could do it, right?
Right.
Very good. All right. So the various ways I think you guys said that you did was multiplication,
Mm-hmm.
repeated addition, and did you guys do anything else besides those two?
No, we figured that was the easiest way
Okay.
to do it visually, and then if you were able to do a half, then you could come to that number of 7.
Right. Very good. All right. And what kind of relationships did you guys notice any relationships between between those problems?
Well, we kind of noticed that when you add and subtract, there's kind of like addition has subtraction to reverse it. But with multiplication, we were trying to figure out if there's a way that you can multiply
Split it.
that in reverse because that
Mm.
is easier.
Yes, that is a really good observation. Really good observation. So, we've learned from previous knowledge that addition is just the same thing as subtraction, but with a minus, with negative numbers, if you will. So now you're kind of wondering, well, if there's a reverse for addition, then might there be a reverse for multiplication?
Whoa.
And the answer to that is yes, you're absolutely right. There absolutely is a reverse for multiplication, and we're gonna see what that is in a little bit. Right. So let's go ahead and move into the next slide. All right. So kind of like how we were saying before, if if um if there's 6 gifts and there are 2 people, then what we can end up doing is we could end up just moving one gift to each person like this, right? That's what you had did the first time.
Yes.
So then, we find out that they each receive 3 gifts, or you could do them at once, right? I'm doing like 3 to each person at the same time, but it'd end up coming out to the same answer if you do 1, 1, 1, 1, how you guys are saying.
Right.
So that is a very, very good way to figure out this problem. But as we've experienced, there is more than one way to figure out how many gifts each person receives. Okay. Now, let me ask you guys one more question, and that is, if you think of these 2 people, so let me go ahead and show you guys this. Just give me a second. Okay. So if you guys can see this here on Peer Deck, let's say we ended up just considering these 2 guys as one collection, if you will. Now even though there's 2 people, these 2 people are in that one circle. What would you call that? If there is multiple people that you're just considering as one thing. What would be a word for that?
A group.
A group. Good, yeah, exactly. So these people you could end up saying are a group. Now, are there any other words for that, Jake? Do you think there are any other words for maybe a group?
Hmm. Honestly, a group is what I was thinking too.
Yeah,
Maybe
okay.
a
So
pair.
a pair is good. A pair you can consider as a group or a pair. That's fine. So yeah, those are two really good ways to describe these two people as one, or a group or a pair, if you will. All right. Skip this slide. All right. So when we divide, what we do is we want to consider two things, and that is an object. So an object would be the item we are dealing with. Okay. So for example, you could have apples, or you could have cookies, you could have cards, or in our scenario, you could have gifts. Um, and we also want to look at what a group is, right? So Kevin and Jake, you guys figured out that those two people, as considered as one, is a group or a pair. That's fine. But a pair is usually how many
Two.
people?
Two.
Two, right? Where a group could be, one or two or zero. A group could be zero as well. So a group is an amount of something that is together. An amount of something that is together. So, like we just said, two people together is one group. Okay. Which brings us to what division is. And division, or you could say that to divide, right? So, division is basically to divide, is to split an object into equal parts or groups. So, when we divide, usually this would be really helpful. So, anytime you want to divide, here's what you should ask yourself: how many, and then the group number, right? So, how many maybe groups of two, because we're dealing with two people, go into, and then the item number. So in question number one, we were dealing with 6 items. We're dealing with 6 gifts. So we would ask how many groups of two, or one group of two, the item number, which is 6. Okay. And the answer to that would be 3 2s go into 6.
Hmm.
So 3, well, the answer is 3, but 3 2s, or um, three three groups of two individual people will give you the 6 gifts that we wanted, a total of 6 gifts, because each person received 3 gifts. All right. Now, if you guys look over to the right here, this picture to the right, this here is the relationship. This is the relationship between multiplication and division. And if you look really close at this picture, on the left side, you can see that there's a total of 18 balls. And on the, I'm sorry, on the left side, there's a total of 18 balls. But on the right side, there's also a total of 18 balls. Now, what is the difference between the left side and the right side?
The left side, they're all in one group, and on the right side, they're divided into groups of 6, or 3 groups of 6.
Right. So on the right side, there's 3 groups of 6. And on the left side, how many groups do we have?
1 or 18.
Okay. So why one? Why one? Why might we have one group?
Because doesn't have a border around them.
Okay, that's good.
Circle.
Right. So that's, if you think of these as a collection, then you could think of these as 8 individual balls in one group. That's one way you can think about it. Or you could just think about it kind of how the right side has it. You could think about it as three groups, and then 6 balls in each group,
Hmm.
which will make up those 18 balls in total. Right? Now, do you guys have any questions right now about what it means to divide?
No, it's just kind.
Is there any way I can check my work?
Yeah. So because the relationship between multiplication and division is simply to move this 18 over to the other side, put a division sign, but the group number stays the same on the left side of the equation. So how you want to check your work is, suppose you multiply first, right? If you multiplied first, you would do 3 times 6 is equal to 18. Now, if you wanted to check that, what you would have to ask yourself is 18 divided by what number gives you 6? 18 divided by what number gives you 6? And if you can figure out what that number is, if that number matches the same number that you had in multiplication, then you know that your answer is correct. If those two equations, if those three numbers appear in the same equation,
Got it.
does that make sense?
That does make sense.
Okay, good. All right. That's good. So now that you guys kind of understand about what division is a little bit more, let's go ahead and evaluate a little bit further. So let's just work on this question together. So taking another look at question 1, Santa, which was Santa has his gift. If Santa is to give all of his gifts to Rick and Morty, how many does each person receive if they both receive the same amount? If they both receive the same amount from Santa. So go ahead and type your answers in the chat box, or you can say it out loud if you want. That's perfectly fine. To what you think these answers are. So let's do the first question. What is the object we are dealing with for question 1? What do you guys think?
Would the object be the number of gifts we have?
The object is the number of gifts you have, yes. Well, that's close.
Okay.
That's close. So Kevin,
Is
what do you think about that?
It's just the gifts in general, all 6 gifts.
Right. Okay. So you're kind of saying the same thing to what Jake was saying. Jake is saying the number of gifts, and you're saying all 6 gifts. Okay, so you guys are both close. Now, does the number of gifts matter here? Does the number of gifts change what the object is?
No.
No.
Good. So what would be the object then?
Oh, just the gifts?
Just the gifts, right?
Woo!
Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the second one. Now, what number would you be able to label as the object?
6.
6. Okay. Now, Jake, do you agree with that? Disagree?
I would agree because we know that the object is gifts and then the number assigned to the object is 6.
Right, exactly right. Okay, good. So how about this third one here? What number would be labeled as the group? What number would be labeled as the group?
2.
Exactly. Okay, so 2 is good. Now, how else can we well, 2, well, you said 2. Why are you saying 2, Kevin?
Because there are 2 individuals.
Because there's 2 individuals.
We have 2 sets of numbers. We have the 6 from the gifts, and then we have 2 people, Rick and Morty.
Okay, good. So, Jake, would you agree with that? 2.
Yes, I would agree that the number is 2 groups, unless maybe it would be 1 group with 2
Mm,
people in it.
right,
I could
right.
be wrong. I don't know.
So both are actually correct. You guys are both correct.
Oh,
So here's what we could say. We could say that there's one group with 2 people in it. That doesn't change how many gifts they would each receive. Or you can say that there is 2 groups of 1 person.
Okay.
So 1 person in each group. So those are both correct answers. Um, Now, how about this fourth question here? How many groups then will we have? How many groups would you have?
just 1 then? If it's 1 group with 2 people in it?
Okay, so you're saying just 1. Kevin, what do you think about that?
I'm gonna stick with my answer and say no. I'm gonna go with 1 group with 2 people in it.
1 group with 2 people in it. Okay, that's good. That's right. So, how many groups will we have then? Kevin, you're saying,
2.
and then Jake, you're saying 1. Okay. So there's a little bit of um, sort of tugging and pulling here on what the answer actually is. Go back to the slide 16, and if you look at the very bottom for the division, if there's 18 balls, right, which is kind of like the 6 gifts that we had, that was the object, that is going to be the number in all. That's fine. And then, but the 3 is how many groups there are, right?
Uh,
So if the 6 gifts went to, if 3 gifts went to 1 person, and then the 3 gifts went to the other person, then that means that there's
2.
2 groups, right?
mm,
So does that make sense, Jake? On why
yes,
it'd be 2 groups? Okay, good.
yes.
So there'd be 2 groups. All right. Now, how many people are in the group?
1.
There's 1 person in the group. Yeah. So there's 2 groups, 1 person in each group. If you want to think of it like that.
Got it.
Cool.
So let's just go ahead and extend on this concept just a little bit more. Okay. So in your breakout rooms again, discuss with your partner. So Jake and Kevin, you guys are going to be discussing with each other. Question 4, that's on slide number 20 on the Google slide page. And see if you can notice any differences and similarities between question 4 versus questions 1 and 3. So question 4 versus 1 and 3. Are there any differences and similarities there? So I'm gonna go ahead and put you guys in breakout rooms and take maybe 5 minutes to discuss this. Okay. Don't forget to answer on Peer Deck. So put your similarities there and your differences there. And and then after we're gonna discuss a little bit more what the similarities and differences might be. So actually, instead of putting your breakout rooms, you guys could just go ahead and discuss here
Okay,
for 5 minutes.
Okay.
So go ahead.
okay. Phone number.
Okay. Are you on slide 20?
I am, yes.
Okay. All right, I'll go ahead and read it. With your partner, discuss the following question 5. If Santa has 9 gifts and he gives Rick and Morty and their friend Lily each the same amount, how many gifts do they each have? Write an equation, use multiplication or division, showing how many gifts they each have. How many 3s go into 9?
Hmm.
Okay, so like we just learned, I would say there are 3 groups,
Yes.
each with 1 individual, and we have 9 gifts. So we can go ahead and do 9 divided by 3, or we can go ahead and like we did in the question 1, where we moved one gift to each person until we got an equal number.
Yes, and I mean, like you said earlier, we could check our work. So since we think 9 divided by 3 is 3, we can go back and do 3 times 3 groups would equal 9 in total. So
Right.
yeah, I definitely agree with how you did that. And we can also check it by going 3 plus 3 plus 3 with our repeated addition skills.
Right.
So now we're set. So similarities
Going to,
with your partner. Question 4. Slide
okay, so we answer on here. So are you on Peer Deck?
Yes.
And you're writing in where it says answer here?
Yeah, I'm just gonna do like a section for similarities and then a section for differences.
Okay.
So I think one difference is like the amount of groups there are in questions 1 and 3. We were dealing with 2 groups, right?
Right.
Okay.
So now we have an extra factor in there.
2 groups. And there's similarities. We could use repeated addition. Addition to find the answer. And like you said, we can visually separate and figure it out.
Because we have an even number.
Yeah.
And we can use multiplication. Our division.
Division divided by 3 equals 3. And then kind of random, but another similarity is the object is the same.
Yep, so we have the same object. It's similar to the balls that we did.
Yes.
3 and 3.
Okay. I think that's all I can think of. We have an added group, which in the other ones we didn't. The object stays the same, but not, and we could use the same tools as in question 1 at least to find the answer.
I think on this question, he made more of an emphasis on using multiplication or division as opposed to leaving it for like addition.
Exactly. Yeah.
Doing it like physically or visually. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Okay, on the thing, I'll move the presents over just in case. Okay, good job.
Hey, so how are you guys doing with this problem here?
We figured it out.
You guys figured it out?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, good. Let's just go ahead and discuss what you guys did then. So let's see what you guys end up doing in Pure Deck.
Oh, how do you put the answer in? Because I have it in the text box.
That's fine. It'll automatically do it.
Oh, I wrote a lot.
So get that one. So this question was, let me just go ahead and, you guys are supposed to, if you can, find some differences and similarities between question 4 and questions 1 and 3.
Yes.
So let's see. Yeah. So what similarities did you guys end up noticing? Were there any?
Well, the way we could find the answer was, at least with question 1, we could do it visually like how we did before. And we could check our work with multiplication, but now that we know we can use division, we could the questions are the same pretty much, just with different numbers and a different amount of groups.
Right. Okay, that's good. Okay, so Kevin, did you notice any differences?
Yeah. So there's an extra group. So we went from 2
Right.
to 3. So 3 individuals. And we noticed you put more emphasis on multiplication and division to use as the solving
Yeah.
problem. And then we can check our answers using opposite and addition. Like if we need to fall back on that, then we could use that.
Right. Okay. So I get what you're saying. So you're saying that, now that you know how to divide, we can probably do the question, a number of different ways now. So we can multiply, we could divide, and then you're saying that we could also check our answer just by doing each one individually.
Right.
Right. Okay, that's good. So yeah, you guys are exactly right on that. Let's see. Were there any other similarities and differences? Well, yes, the object is the same. The groups change. You can still multiply. You can still divide. You can still add as usual. It's just, instead of having 2 groups now, you're gonna have 3 groups. And also, question 3 did end with a decimal. That is another huge difference, or a fraction, depending on however you want to write it. Okay, good. So you guys already did those guys. All right, so that is going to complete our lesson. I think you guys have a good understanding of what division is. And yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, see ya.